If you have elected to Stand-Up Paddleboard or SUP, you're going to be using a board like this and one of these types of paddles. They've got a handle like a T-grip on the one end and one blade on the other end. As the staff here at the retreat is going to help you, you want to have your paddle to be to the palm of your hand fully reached out, extended. This one's perfect for me. I go like this, my hand goes right over it, my thumb tucks that down. Paddles are really simple. They've got a sticker on the face that should be facing you. So if I'm looking at this one, I see that sticker, it's got a curve, it works like a duck foot. So it hits the water and scoops. Now, this paddle's a little too tall for me. However, if it's the only one I have, I'm just gonna choke down a little bit, okay? When we start paddling, we start off on our knees. So once we get on the water, and I'm gonna show you that in a second, we start off kneeling. So when you're kneeling, you're gonna start like this. You're gonna choke down on the paddle, closer to the blade. Whatever hand is your low side is the side that you are paddling on. 2 or 3 strokes, switch sides, switch grips. It's very awkward to be paddling like this. So whatever hand is your low side is the side that you're paddling on. The more vertical your paddle, the straighter you're gonna go. Every time the paddle's a little curved with a stroke, it means you're gonna do a little zigzag. If you want the extra strokes in there, go for it. But the straighter your paddle, the more vertical, or we call it stacked hands, the straighter you will go. All right, now that I'm ready to stand, I've gotten comfortable with paddling, kneeling, I'm ready to stand. My paddle goes down. Imagine this being on the ground. I'm gonna go from my paddle down here, go from my knees. I'm gonna replace one foot where my knee was, next one, and stand. If that is a challenge, the other way, I'm kneeling, paddling, I'm ready to stand. Paddle goes in the center. 1 foot up, 2 feet up. Okay, get your feet shoulder width apart, bent knees. All right, now we're gonna grab our T-grip. That T-grip's gonna be proper. I'm still facing my paddle face here. Proper grip. Hand on top of my head, 90 degrees out. That's how far you want your paddle to be, or your grip to be. Now that I'm standing, 2 or 3 strokes, switch sides, switch grips. Great, we've learned how to go straight. We gotta turn. Turning, you wanna squat down, get a lower center of gravity. If I wanna turn right, I'm gonna paddle on the opposite side. I'm gonna reach to the front of my nose of my board, out and away, doing a C or a rainbow stroke. When we're paddling straight, we want a vertical paddle. To turn, the more horizontal you can make your paddle, the better you rotate. Again, nose to tail, squat down, lower center of gravity, helps you rotate. All right? That is one way to steer, but it takes a lot of real estate in the creek if you turn only from the front. Steering from the rear is the recommendation for slowing down and quickly turning. I'm gonna squat down, reach behind me, and do a C backwards from the back to the front. I am now pushing the 9-inch fin through the water. It is 10 times more effective to steer from the rear than it is from the front. Go out and practice, try it. Go from the front, go from the back, and see how much you're able to control your board based on where you steer from. I over-exaggerated the squatting. It's very helpful. When you're paddling, you also want to keep your knees bent. You know, there's some of us that when we lock our knees, we pass out at weddings. Don't do that. This is the same example. Keep those knees bent. Shock absorbers help you bounce with the waves, with the wind, help you go. Loose hips makes you paddle friendly. Good. Right. Normally when you're out and paddling, the staff here is going to get your vessel in the water. For sake of speed, I am going to help Jamie here. We're gonna slowly put this down, and we're loading from the dock. Down there. Yep. Yep. And I'm going to come to here. We don't want to step down. It's best to sit down, and I'm going to show a technique where I keep my close knee upright, and then I'm going to bring my outside knee down by the handle. Where this handle is the center of gravity. So I'm gonna put both knees down right here. And I'm gonna push off just slowly right here. All right, center of gravity right here. right, now I'm kneeling. I'm choking down on the paddle, and now I'm gonna turn front stroke. I'm gonna reach out to the nose, go out around. As you can see, I've also got some forward direction with it. But if I reach behind me and do a backward steer, I'm literally staying in place as I'm rotating. That fin is what helps us steer when we're going forward strokes. It keeps us straight, it locks us in place. It's also what makes it challenging to steer sometimes as well. But you have to remember that that is a 9-inch fin below your board, which means in shallow areas it could catch. So you want to be cognizant of where you are in depth wise. Launching here, we're at a lower tide. It's still fairly deep, you're fairly safe. All right, standing up, I'm gonna on all fours like this. Right foot, left foot, up. Other way. Put this right here between you. Right foot, left foot. Now, some might end up starting a little bit of wobble. I like to say we have to T-swift and shake it off because your legs might be shaking. Just let somebody hold the board or just hang out. Your body will eventually listen to your mind. This is a very, very stable platform. It's just new, all right? So once I'm here, you can scoot out 1 foot at a time, get your good stance here. Now I'm using the T-grip and my stroke is out here, as vertical as I can. You can see I've got a kind of a lunge like I'm riding a horse. That's the proper technique, but anything that propels you forward is good enough. And now that I'm standing up, same thing, I'm squatting down and I'm able to turn right here really closely. But if I was trying to turn with a forward stroke, it's going to take a lot more real estate because it actually does propulsion with it, not just steering. And here's a reminder as well, if you're gonna fall, if you're feeling loose, accept your fate. Go in the water, fall flat. If you're wearing your life jacket, it's gonna keep you up, but try to fall flat. What falling flat means is use your whole body to catch you in the water. We don't want you trying to go feet first. We don't want you trying going head first. And once you do get in the water, don't try to stand. First thing, get to your paddleboard because you can maneuver your paddleboard with your hands. Technically, little history lesson, paddleboarding is actually with only your body. That's why this is called stand-up paddleboarding. You can move this whole board with just your arms. A little more work, but you get to the paddle first. If you had a yard sale and the paddle went somewhere else, get to your board first, then get to the paddle afterwards, or have somebody else that you were with bring you your paddle if needed. What else have I missed?
And
all right, you've been out paddling a while and you are unfortunately not the only one on the creek. What happens when a boat passes you or wind creates a little wave that you're unsure about? First thing is you want to cross a wake at a 45 or 90 degrees, not parallel. So if it's coming, you don't want to be beside it because it's going to lift up your side and toss you over. If you're able and it's not very high, you can turn into it at a 45 degrees and try to ride it. If you're not comfortable in that option, something happens, go back and get back down. Quickest way is do a squat and then get down. It's really hard to fall off a board when you're that low, when you're holding the board, okay? And if needed, you can hold the edges and you're not going anywhere. Now, if it is a big wave or anything like that, I say sometimes you have to just bite the bullet and throw the legs out to the side and go down if you know that you're in a shallow area. It's better to fall on the board than other places. But the quickest way sometimes, that was both knees. Sometimes it's just going down like that. Now I have stability with this hand and I'm up here. I've got lots of stability, all right? But most folks won't be going terribly fast, or if they are, they're not producing much wake sometimes. Start your paddle into the wind. You want the hard work up front. That way when you're tired and you've been out for a little while, you've had the sun on you for a while, when you turn around, the wind's blowing you back in. And that is regardless of what the tide is doing. Paddleboarding, you want to go against the wind. Now, if there's not much wind, then you go with the tide option. Go against the tide to start so it can bring you back unless you're going to be out during a tide change. and the staff here is going to help you navigate on what the best options are depending on if you want the workout or you want an easy experience. But it's best to go into the wind to start. That way you have an easier experience later when you are tired. Legally, you have the right of way. However, we recommend the bug method. If it can squash you, get out of its way, which means stay on the sides of the creek. Don't just meander in the middle. You might see some dolphins out here, and I know they're gonna catch your attention, but we want you on the sides of the creek, not necessarily the edges. Let the boats be going fast in the center. You're on the sides of the creek. The edges mean the 5 feet where it slopes down, where there's gonna be oysters, things like that. So try to always be on the side of the creek. It doesn't matter if it's left or right, it just means side. However, there are times when the wind is coming from one side to the other. It's always recommended to be on the side the wind is coming from, because the marsh grass is going to shield you from that wind. It's called the leeward side of it. If you're on the side the wind is going to, the windward side, you'd be pushed into the marsh grass or the docks all the time, which means it's a constant battle. So if it happens to be doing a crosswind, you want to be on the side of the creek that the wind is coming from. On the side of the creek and not the edge. If you're just paddling and meandering and minding your own business and a boat wake does come, if you're close to the edge, it can push you up into the marsh grass, into an oyster bed. So give yourself some room to not be right there and be pushed directly into that non-navigable area. So you want to be far enough in the water so that a wave won't push you right onto the edge of the bank. It's important to note when you're returning from your paddling adventure, when you're paddleboarding, you always want to approach a dock kneeling. So I'm going to slowly get down, and I'm going to finish my paddle strokes on one side, and then if I do a little scoot here. Now if you want to try what's called a draw stroke and come sideways, but I want to approach sideways, because if I'm standing and I try to reach down, who knows what kind of conditions, a boat, a wind, whatever, the paddleboard could scoot out that way, and now I'm catching a rib, my head, elbow, whatever on this dock. But if I start right here, we then get off the opposite way that we got on. I'm gonna take my closest leg and put it up. I'm gonna twist and put my butt here, and now I'm up.